Welcome into a Gaslighters podcast look at the weekend as it is Red Raider basketball on the road in Lawrence at Kansas. This is a Red Raider squad that is also coming off of a shorthanded loss to the Houston Cougars. Thought you did a lot of really nice things. Clint Scott, Rob Bro, also of the Gaslighters podcast. Let's start with, what did you think of the week against Houston in that big Monday matchup?
Yeah, to be blunt, Clint, I think you should have won that game if you had one more player, but you didn't. As a joint effort between being slow at the end of the game because they were fresher than you. They wrote toughest team wins on the whiteboard after the game, and I think they earned that. I think they were tougher and fresher at the end of the game, and that's what happens when you play with six guys.
I totally get, and I don't disagree with, if you have one of either Darian Williams or Chance McMillan, obviously you're going to be better. But I don't look at that as the reason of why you lost the game, because this is really a credit to the defense you played. You had yourself in that game, but you had enough shooters on the court and you had enough good looks. It was more just, to me, an off night between a bunch of guys. And the only one that I would say really hit at least big shots from the outside was late from Kerwin Walton, which was huge. And I love seeing that. And you're going to need that sort of Kerwin Walton in the NCAA tournament and in the Big 12 tournament and down here the stretch of the last three games. Again, this is more of a positive from the loss, as I think even more so it was, you didn't have McMillan, you didn't have Williams, that would have helped, but you did hit shots with guys that can hit shots. But defensively, I thought Christian Anderson, just another repeat from what we saw against Javon Small. He did it again against LJ Cryer. Can we see that sort of defense again, if needed, in Lawrence on Saturday?
Yeah, it's certainly needed. Even if Williams is back, even if Chance McMillan's back, I mean, we saw Christian Anderson earning those minutes. Mm-hmm. And, he was playing starter minutes really even before. I think he didn't come off the floor. And he looked, it was a bit of a strain that he didn't come off the floor. And he looked tired at the end of the game. And Toppin did too. Toppin not quite as high on some of those hook shots, and they were getting blocked at the end of the game. So I think it's important for Christian Anderson to have a big game against Kansas. And I think it's, again, you said his name, Kerwin Walton. He's kind of the X factor if you're missing Chance McMillan. Overton, too. I thought they both played good. I thought they both looked really good against West Virginia in the back half. They didn't look as particularly good against Houston, and they need to if you're going to beat Kansas.
What I liked about Kevin Overton in the Houston game and against West Virginia is he's really attacking right now. And as a team, Miles, that's something else that kept you in that Houston game, was getting to the free throw line. But you look at Kansas, obviously it shifts from guard talk to bigs talk. Defensively, you're trying to keep down Hunter Dickinson, KJ Adams, and Florida Badunga, to me, first, because on the guards, you still need them to defend well. But instead of defending a Javon Small or an LJ Cryer that are just these massive scorers in the Big 12, you're trying to stop a natural distributor in DeJuan Harris and Zeke Mayo between Hawkins and between Anderson, who is a scorer, but still not the same type of player that you've seen the last two. So it'll be a very interesting matchup. But to me, I think the focus this week is going to be, can you stop the bigs, and then can you find enough offense, especially if you're still shorthanded there at the Fog.
Can Federico give you a solid 20 minutes against Hunter Dickinson? Because he did it against Juwan Roberts, and the last 5 weren't as good. But I thought the first 15 or 20 were really good against Juwan Roberts.
Well, we'll find that out. There is 3 more games left on the schedule. The Red Raiders and Jayhawks, you can hear that game on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score. This has been a Gaslighter podcast look ahead to the weekend. We'll see you next week.